Here we go then. Division 1 Gold Semi-Finals of TB4 plus 1. We have BlackBook versus Xpress. And we are off on Schloss. Starting off on Shazam, who's grabbed the pent. Who got ring? Okay, Xpress also got ring. OK's just gone down with it though. It's going to be interesting. I've commentated a few games in the Div 3 and some Mixed League games the last couple of days. So I'm going to have to get used to the tactics going for the higher games. Because I don't know those. I know the Div 3 tactics. I can play Div 3 and I can play Mixed Leagues. But the Div 1 tactics, they leave a lot to the imagination, but it works. Quad coming up in 4. Real Pit in a nice place to take it. Great rockets coming out. Everybody getting caught in the crossfire. Just staying out of the way of damage. Gets a few good rockets in and gets taken down. Both teams keeping it close. Both teams 2 rocket launchers at the minute and a decent stack on each. Anytime I mention who's got what stack and who's got how many rocket launchers, there will immediately be something that happens to make that untrue. Good grab on Mega. Xpress have got a good control over the outside of the map, but it seems like right now BlackBook have got the inside places taken care of, at least for what matters, which is when the items are actually up. Red coming up soon. Okay, should be able to take it. Milton's come in with absolutely beautiful movement, got up on top and taken it. Say in position to take the quad. Has a rocket launcher, has good amount of stack. Takes a bit of extra damage than they'd probably want to right there. But they're going to be able to get out. I should say BlackBook are the white-grey skins and Xpress are red. I don't have a black skin or anything darker than silver. Milton on a bit of a tear out of there with the rocket launcher. Very well stacked. Up here in tower defending this yellow. Strong position to defend. Especially with the quad coming up where you can see it. Quad spawn point rather than quad coming up. It's a strong start from BlackBook. They've put themselves in a very comfortable lead for the first part of this map. Everything changes so quick in Quake World. Lots of deaths can come down, but on this map, most of the time, it seems to be that getting a good advantage right at the start can mean you can avoid some of the fights. Avoiding quad is very much possible when your opponent's got quad and just running away. As we currently see that Xpress are doing, really. They've found out where Milton probably is and they're getting the hell out of there. It's kind of the biggest difference. You'd expect the higher ranks, the more that a quad would go on a tear. And it's definitely true that the quad gets out more in higher ranks. Quite often, for the matches I've seen in Div 3 and Div 2, the quad just gets absolutely nuked on the spot every single time. But Div 1 almost always manages to get out. Players more reluctant to go for it and to go for playing for a deny. But then everybody runs away and hides. Speaking of quad, that's now up. And it's been taken by OK on HX. And suddenly, all of BlackBook has disappeared. Good timing on the rocket drop down. Gets a good bit of ammo there. No health up in this corner, so he's going to have to just wait around. Use this quad to defend this position. Moving out too much would be a problem right now. Say trying to come in. Gets a good amount of damage. Doesn't quite catch him off guard enough. Few items have been coming up. The pent's coming up in 15. The ring's at exactly the same time. And OK decides to suicide. OK, Jarve's managed to pick up both of the megas that came up. I saw that they came up, but I didn't assume that two people had got them. Quad at the same time as Pent coming up now. Who's managed to grab Quad? I can't see it, but the Quad versus Pent. Pent always beats Quad. And BlackBook put themselves again on the front foot. Not too many frags going away at the minute. BlackBook just holding themselves steady. No need to grind ahead. Will say pick up this other mega health and get massively overstacked like we just saw Jarve do. Will indeed up to the full 250 health. Having a bit of a wipe in the church. Oh, very nice rocket coming through onto Milton, who gets 2 rockets in a good place. Over in tower, drop down, nice quad. Well stacked. This could be very dangerous. Milton always good with a quad. I'd expect to see them possibly raid bossing Milton towards the end of this. Kind of forcibly making sure he's stacked up and ready. Yeah, also without the quad. But specifically Milton with... like, there's certain weapons that get buffed up with the quad. Nail gun, it's good for plus backing, but it's not good for attacking. If you've got the quad, it's very good, and Milton's very good with it. And the shotgun, it is powerful, but it's not powerful against an armoured opponent, unless you've got the quad. And Milton, it looks like he's playing with a railgun when he's using this shotgun. Great movement as well. Quad coming up, given to Milton. He's well stacked, he's in a good position to use it. Good shots. They've managed to hunt him down, which is very good. Zerial well stacked. Over defending tower, holding this position down. BlackBook trying to get in. Zerial's going to get out, doesn't want to take that fight. Going over to the red. Looks like they've secured that area. It's going to be a bit of low fragging section, I think, here. Until I feel like nobody's going to go for each other until the next quad comes up. So we'll just have a slight bit. People defending, getting into position. Zerial's going to go onto the quad position by the looks of things. And he does indeed take it. A lot less health, but grabs this yellow up in tower that they've been defending just before going over to the quad. And now he's on a hunt. Wants to try and bring back some frags. They're almost half the frags right now that BlackBook have got. Good timings. Playing around the timings there. Seeing the rockets coming through. You know when someone's going to reload. Just got to be careful for the second rocket from a second player. But that quad didn't really manage to get anywhere. A very well fortified church. Or cathedral, rather. And Zerial couldn't push into BlackBook's defences there. Real Pit playing the defence on the inside. Going to move away from that. We'll prefer to watch Roamers. Ooh, there's the rocket coming through from Zerial. We even get to see both sides of it. Just waiting a second on it. Someone picked it up and then immediately went down. They didn't catch the name before they went down. But the quad is gone immediately. So that's really good for BlackBook. Obviously, if it wasn't BlackBook who picked it up, then it's still good for Xpress. But they'll much prefer to be taking these quads rather than BlackBook right now. Will be perfectly happy to let them go down to a trade. It's not massively early, and of course, you don't really, at less than 10 minutes in, coming up to the halfway point once the next quad spawns. You don't really want to be playing defensive, but if you've got the lead, you are happy for quads and pents to just kind of go unused a lot more. Pent's a lot harder to keep down, of course, though, and it goes on to Hell's Express. Quad coming up in 2 seconds. It's perfectly timed. Pentaquad on OK. Now, where are BlackBook? They're going to be definitely hiding now. They'll know the Pentaquad for sure after it killed the first couple of them. They've seen that pink glow. And they'll be trying to get away. So far, so nothing. Might as well give a great stack. Pent goes down. Quad going to be going down in just a second as well. So you might as well give a great stack to the player when they've got so many rockets in the bank. Great dodging there from Milton. 3 players coming in. A lot of damage being dealt by shotguns. And OK's got a decent set of frags out of that. $37 frags is our difference now. Quad's up. Who's got it? Zerial's got it. In a good stack, but not a great place. We can see all of the BlackBook players are in the right place to be able to challenge, but that just means that they're going down one by one. Zerial manages to get out of the fight and get into a well defendable position, taking down a few teammates in the process, unfortunately, but right now BlackBook are just feeding lions to the tiger. That's not the right set of words. They've fed some frags to Zerial. And he's still going. Quad's run out, but you still got a rocket launcher, you know. Up on top. Oh, you so very rarely see people rocketing up there. It's a very dangerous move and it didn't play off. It can be incredibly worthwhile getting right up there, up in their faces. No one expects it, of course, because it is such a strange play, especially at low health. So you can scare people into thinking that you've got more health than you actually do. Especially if they don't realise that they are the ones stood on the red, so surely you don't have a red at that time. Decent work there from the quad. All of BlackBook are in here, and there wasn't much health on the quad player. So very difficult to push into this room. But you've given your entire team, because it was 1 versus 4, the entire 4 BlackBook players standing around here for that little while. They've given the entire rest of HX time to take the rest of the map, and you can see here, Zerial's managed to stack up with a red. They've taken control of tower, and they're pushing themselves straight back into this game. That scoreline coming down by 10, 15 frags in the last couple of minutes. Zerial on quad. HX has managed to control this map. They've forced BlackBook into the corner. BlackBook doesn't seem to be able to move further. They've got Cathedral, which is a very powerful place. They'll be happy to still have that. As you can see, Zerial with the quad, with a rocket launcher, doesn't want to push into Cathedral, knows that there could be so many players in their wimsuit defending up top. Finds the frag on Milton and goes down without too much. Zerial lost Cathedral, couldn't manage to take it. It's really tricky right now for them to be able to get in. You can see most players on BlackBook are down at Cathedral. Saiyan Tower goes down, trying to make a fight happen. They're trying to take these back, and they're doing really well. It's all about stemming the frags, managing to take the sections without losing too many frags, because they have still got a lead, so they're not going to be trying to push in. Last pen is going to be incredibly crucial. This quad taken by Milton, it's going to be a very big quad, because it's not going to run out too far from when that pent is up. So unless Milton goes down right now, which he does, so they're not going to be able to do what they would have wanted to do. They'll have wanted to take that quad over to the pent and really control the area around the pent. Wimsuit's going to just continue defending Cathedral. It all goes quiet. 10 seconds. The early players going in get rained down, but that's good. You know, HX will be perfectly happy with that. Who's got it? Say's managed to pick it up. Last quad on BlackBook. Sorry, last pent on BlackBook. They also go for the quad. Get pentaquad. Always Say. He's good at pent stealing. We saw some fantastic pent stealing in one of the Div 3 games. Which is perfect pent stealing on this map. They were never... Also did it on quad as well a couple of times. They were never the ones there at the pent. And you were like, oh, surely this team's going to get it. And bang, taken. But the game is running close. Look at the scores on BlackBook. 53... Milton's ruined it by getting a frag. It was 53, 53, 39, 39. HX much more evenly spread. Interesting to see how it goes, because sometimes you will get a raid boss who's just constantly getting stacked up, always given, you know, as long as they're around, but they'll always be the one that you're trying to get the quad or the pent onto. And you're giving them armor and giving them weapons. And sometimes you'll have a much more evenly stacked team where everybody takes whatever they can get. Sometimes it depends on the map. And positioning. Phantom Base is much less likely to have it than, say, this map, because it's Phantom Base, you don't really wait around in areas, it's much more of a roamers map. Whereas this, you hold areas. As BlackBook have been doing so well with this, holding this area, but they can't seem to hold it forever. HX can't quite get in just yet, but every time they attack for it, they're able to take a few frags. The more players that are in, the more chances of getting frags you have, of course, but also the less chance that your opponent's going to get in and actually take the control of the area. So BlackBook happy to trade a few frags for the control, especially when it gave them that quad, which has done some really good work. Rimsuit just defending up here. Very nicely done. They'll be more than happy, BlackBook, to hold off right now. 2.5 minutes left on the clock, so now they can start to play somewhat defensive. At least on this map. They should be able to. The frag difference could be closed very, very quickly, but BlackBook shouldn't make the mistakes that will let HX close. As you can see, they're running away from fights, fighting from a distance, not wanting to engage in proper duels. Delay, if you're going to die already, delay your death. It's probably a little bit too early to fully play for that. But as long as they can test for the quad every time, they should be alright with this current lead. It could get very close at the end, though. Nice dodge in there from Yave. Oh, and the grenade coming in. Was that Yave's grenade? The grenade detonation timings, sometimes they feel a lot longer. Ooh, that was beautiful from Milton. Quick switch over to the shotgun. Takes out Shazam, was it? Coming up on 1 minute left. The scoreline has slightly increased in the last minute. 41 frags in a minute. It's technically doable, but like I said, BlackBook aren't going to make the mistakes that they would have to make to let Hell's Express back into this game. I expect a last second rush, especially when the quad comes up. The quad's going to be up quite late. I can't remember exactly when, but it's certainly going to only have most 15 seconds. I'm watching the sidebar. 15-second timer when it appears. Oh, there's not even going to be a quad. There is not going to... Okay. No final quad. I was watching that too much rather than watching the actual game. There we have the first map on Schloss. 236 to 186. 50 frags difference is pretty close. Pretty close, especially with the ending there. With HX having to absolutely smash in, push, and try and make something. Very, very well played from everybody. 1-0 to BlackBook. As we go to map number 2. Map number 2 then, we are on DM2. This could go very close, looking at the last map. We're going to be watching for this area, who's going to be able to hold it. Very important place to hold. And something hasn't loaded properly.
Awesome.
Ah, the countdown's starting now. Nice. We are in. We have the first quad going on to Wimsuit with a rocket launcher heading over to the top mega. Who's going to take low? We're looking at the bottom corner with the with all the names and everything, all the scoreboard. We're looking at people in low R. That's here, the lower rocket area. Very important place to hold. As you will see, if somebody can get around that corner and show off the mega and the yeah, just on here, mega and red. So very important place to hold. You've got a rocket, you've got mega, you've got red. You've got easy access to quite a few of the other places. It's not difficult to get into, not difficult to get over to the quad and be able to take the quad. Milton, nice shot there. Makes the frag. Don't think he was expecting to make the frag before the pickup, the items were picked up. Kind of wanted to get out of the fight. Real pit with the quad, very low. Nice shot there up from Harvey. Is it Jave Harvey? I don't know. Send me a voice recording of how your name is pronounced if I've pronounced it wrong. Hey Zerial, nicely played on the last map, by the way. And yes, I will play more 4-on-4 when I need. Yeah, I haven't had time in the evenings except for when it's been commentating. Short A, Jave, Jav. Jave, okay, or Jav, one of the two. We'll figure it out. Jav. Milton with quad. Not very well stacked up. Gonna leave that rocket launcher up for a teammate. Coming in, trying to use this to open some space up. Everybody's shifting out when they see the quad coming. Two good frags in quick succession. Finds a third. Spamming down that corridor to get the spawn frags just in case anybody turns up. Once this red in the back, it's coming up in a second. We'll see what the scoreline reads at 3 minutes. It's the all-important first 3 minutes. Sets the tone for the game. If you can get a good lead in that first 3 minutes, then you can start to play a little bit differently. You're not too fussed about leaving. If it's very close at 3 minutes, you've got the game continues to try and gain a lead. Especially on this map, being on the back foot on this map does go for a little bit longer. But of course, being on the back foot means you can you have to push into areas. Whereas being on the front foot, having frags in the lead, you can kind of just leave things if it's not going your way. You can move out, pick some stuff up from around the rest of the map. Because there is that one very powerful low rocket launcher area. And then there's the rest of the map has about the same amount of stuff. Minus quad. Hell's Express right now, 3 rocket launchers and some good stack on those rocket launchers. So they might be able to do something here, but Milton doing a lot of damage just with 1 shotgun. Grabbing himself a red as well. Quad coming up in 3 seconds. Milton in perfect position for it, and Hell's Express have decided to dip. They don't want to be there. They know they can't get into Milton's stronghold, and they don't want to take the fight when the rocket launcher's up. Never feel bad about pressing that button. Everybody presses it. Couple of good frags there from Milton. Managed to take a good control, like bullying everybody out of place is probably the best outcome that was going to happen with the quad in that situation. It was unlikely he was going to be able to go on an absolute tear. Got quite a few frags, but unlikely to go on like a 10 frag spree or anything. But just bullying the entirety of the HX team out of wherever they wanted to be and pushing into that lower RL section. Few frags coming back right now from HX. They've played very well between these 2 quads, and that's led to OK being able to pick up the quad, grab a rocket launcher, has a decent amount of stack. Now this is where that kind of small, it's very early in the game of course, but that small advantage comes into play, because HX is going to look at the scoreboard. OK is looking at the scoreboard right now, saying, right, I need to make this count, I need to get some frags. And that's a completely different feeling to when you're in the lead and you can push in and say, I don't need to make any frags. I can just hold this one position. They do well to just hold that one position though, still. And they take a great amount of control for the lower RL. Ooh, nice frag through the wall. 7 frag difference is absolutely nothing. Wimsuit massively overstacked with that rocket. Red armor. Ooh, very nice shot there from Shazam as soon as the quad was taken, shooting right where the quad is before the player who picked it up has time to move off of it, denying the quad. A lot of armors and ammo coming up soon. There could be some good fights happening. When a lot of armor and ammo, you see it on the side, all comes up, all gets picked up, especially at Div 1, there's nothing that these guys won't be kind of at least somewhat timing. They'll have some sort of idea when things are up. Because it's just that the time and the practice that they've had, they don't even have to think about timing things. There's just a vibe. You know that there might be a yellow up. Quad in 10 seconds. Everybody gathering at different places. Milton goes down. Probably won't mind that too much. Managed to distract from the quad coming up. And Wimsuits managed to get the quad. Goes immediately down to OK. Not a great quad for them there. I've been hoping for slightly more than that. But the frag difference is slim, so neither team in a position to kind of let the quad be taken. And neither team absolutely needing the quad to get out and escape. Splash just waiting around for this yellow. Could do good work with it if he manages to pick it up. Quad up, Shazam's got it. Where are the rest of Hell's Express? Well, if they can team up slightly here, and immediately the frag comes out. And the quad goes down. Yeah, they needed to team up with that quad coming through to be able to take this, this low RL section. Up on the RA and Mega. Wimsuit getting stacked up. Nice rocket jump up, very clean onto the moving pad. HX are starting to build out a bit of a lead. You don't notice it because they're doing it between major items. They're not making a big fun in games about it. They do take this quad and they should be able to get out here. And again, it'll be about playing around each other with the quad rather than letting the quad go on its own. Shazam clearing the way. Quad doesn't even need to come in. But Shazam will have been there just to make sure that the quad doesn't go down too early because they could use it. Java in the wrong situation. OK gets taken down by their own rocket. But that'll be fine for them. The quad was on its last legs anyway. Up now, teaming up. They're going to want to get back into that low RL. Take control of some weaponry. Book all stacked up with rocket launchers though. So that's good for them. Losing their players fast. All dropping like flies. Big rocket up there from Say. And HX takes another quad. Pretty much for free this time. I think it's just slightly before the quad. There was a little bit of a fight the other side of the map that we didn't get to see. But I was looking at the scoreboard and a few rocket launchers and a few deaths came out. On BlackBook. I will just read the names as they are in the shortened form. So sorry for anybody who thinks that's the wrong name. Wimsuit gets caught between the lava. It's a tricky jump. It is. Everyone will always fall in it. Okay, thanking their opponents for a boost out of that corner. Doesn't quite get too far before going down. It's a big fight early for quad, really, this fight. This fight is about taking control and being able to take this next quad. Who's picked it up? Wimsuit's got the quad. Wimsuit's got the quad with a good stack as well. This is good for Book. They're going to be able to possibly come back into this. They've been slowly losing frags just between the quads really. But if they can take a good quad and make some frags on the board, watching that scoreboard at the top tick up slowly. It's ticking up on the other side as well. As BlackBook are found out with non-quad players. Unfortunate spawn there for Shazam. What score difference are we at? 12 frags. 8 minutes left. This is the halfway mark of the game. The true halfway mark. If you chop off like the start and end of... because the game gets played differently. Milton now with the quad. Very well stacked. That is not good for HX. They do still have a lead, so they would be able to play around it. But BlackBook have got into all of the places they need to. Right now, HX in the last couple of minutes, we've sort of watched them lose control of all the places that they'd want to have control of. They've had the stack, the frags on the board, but it doesn't mean much when your opponent's able to stack up a Milton with a quad. Beautiful movement there through from Milton. 5 HP left. Chuck a grenade round the corner, see if it lands. And quad's up much sooner than you think. Nice shots coming down. BlackBook again going to be able to pick up this quad. They've tied everything up now. Not a lot it took for the frags to swing. BlackBook doing the right thing. They might not have been gaining the frags for a while, but they were constantly forcing the issues of control and taking control of different parts of the map. It's difficult to see who's got control of the map sometimes when you're just watching from POV to POV, because you can have control of a map by having control of the entryway, of course. BlackBook blasted out a 20 frag lead. Barely any time at all. In, yeah, less than a minute between them taking that quad. Next quad coming up. If HX don't get this quad, I think it might be... I mean, obviously early to say, but it could very well be over. And they have given it away for free. I think they're trying to take control. Looking at the numbers, a lot down in that lower rocket area. So I think they're trying to let the quad go, take lower rocket, and then really see what Milton isn't able to do, rather than what he is able to do. Of course, wherever this quad goes, HX just aren't going to be able to be. And that includes that stronghold that they did have for a second. Milton dropping off a player is a really interesting kind of high-level team tactic there. Milton goes in with the quad, with a teammate, blows the whole place to smithereens, then leaves. Jave stays here. Has a rocket launcher, has a good stack, is in a good position, and very easy to defend this position from attackers. Much harder than going in. You need that quad to get in. Say picks up the quad. There is a bit of a fight back from Xpress. Big frag difference now on the board. 60 frags coming out, the difference. And this quad just extending it and extending it and extending it. Every shot fired connecting right now from Say, going on an absolute ripper. Up on 50 frags. We're getting almost to the point where the lowest fragging member of BlackBook has more frags than the highest fragging member of Xpress. Watch for that Jave versus Real Pit battle. Because that's when you know you're really in it. All the frags all the time. Quads come up. Who's going to grab it? Nobody's on it right now. Wimsuit picks it up. A late quad grab. All the fighting happening in the lower section. Wimsuit wants to make some frags on the board, clearly, by roaming around trying to make more damage. Is it necessary? No, but if they can keep piling on this pressure, because they are in the right sort of position to do it. Right now, Xpress have been roaming, trying to find frags, trying to find their entryway into the rooms. They haven't had control, they haven't stacked up any particular player, and now they're complete fresh spawns. Complete fresh spawns going against 4 rockets, everybody but Say has a bit of armour on their backs. It's going to be a tough way back at all into this game, just to get any sort of savings. But now I think, you know, you're looking at an over 100 frag difference. We are definitely looking at it's the mental battle now. Can you have a good minute in these last 2.5 minutes? If you can have a good minute, take a few sections, then you can absolutely just feel a lot better. Because we've got one more map, at the very least. Just looking at some of the chat in QTV, talking about miscommunication. There is a chance that that happened. I'm not well versed enough in this quality of 4-on-4 to really say, but there is a chance that miscommunication might have been the cause of the loss of control. Because it was a sudden loss, and now, yeah, you're just looking at BlackBook and how are you going to take down guys that are fully stacked up, looking good. Beautiful communication there. Milton just dropping back, letting Yarv through for the healths.
Awesome.
Thank you for follow. This is a great place to drop grenades in from. You've got to be careful, obviously, to not hit everything, but it is a great grenade dropping place. Big rockets coming out from Milton. His reaction times are absolutely incredible today. All these shots that he's taking on teleporting players coming through. I think we're going to end up with over the double the frags, which is an absolute blowout. It was close until it wasn't, this game. It was staying close, but then all control was lost. HX wasn't they were able to get a few quads at the time, but they were putting them onto players who had no stack, no real nothing really to push in. And then they weren't able to use that to take control of any positions on the map. And it just let BlackBook take control of all of those sort of things. Yarv. I think we'll do alright. Yarve. Okay. 296 to 150. Not quite total double domination. But absolutely brilliant. BlackBook takes map number 2. And Hell's Express massively on the back foot, especially after the end of that. There might be some sort of discussion going on right now in that voice chat about what the hell just happened, because it ended in a blowout. Hopefully they're able to bring it back together, and hopefully they're able to put it into map number 3 and take us at least to 4 maps, because that first map was incredibly close and we want to see more of that. Map number 3, we head into BlackBook with a 2-0 lead over Hell's Express. We're on E1M2. This is the last stand for Hell's Express. They've got to win this. They've got to come out the gate hot. And they are going to grab this first quad. And Zerial just somehow surviving that with 4 health. Dodging around the shots from Wimsuit. Wants to make this quad count, walks back, and unfortunately walks into Step Cop. Nice start here from Real Pit. Mega Health coming up shortly, so just wait for it. There it is, and a pile of rockets to boot. Nicely played. Quite often I've watched games where Milton's playing on this map, and Milton gets put in the position of holding down the rocket launcher down in the sewers. We've had one quite standing still map with a bit of roaming and a bit of looping round. We've had the M2, which is a much heavier roaming map with 1 or 2 places that you want to hold down, but generally you'll have 1 or 2 people holding that and then pushing in and then holding it and then pushing in. And now we've got this, which is a very, very hold your position map, being pretty much in a straight line. Not too many, certainly no routes from start to finish, just loops around in small sections. Holding positions is much more usual, and it depends where you can defend from. In the Div 3 games, we're seeing most of the rocket launcher being defended from the outside, but I've seen Div 1 games of this before, and for sure there's a lot less rocket launchers going around. That's what I was trying to find. I was just watching what was happening in the chat, trying to work out. I can't quite make sense of what was happening, but over in the chat with watching people's call-outs and seeing if it seemed like HX was trying to gather away from quad and then push into quad, but they did seem to get there early enough. Got the quad. Oh, Milton's got a rocket launcher held up right at the back end. Nice push in there from Splash, having enough health and having the confidence to push in, knowing that if you can do the damage up close with the nail gun, the rocket launcher from Milton and finish him off. Quad coming up shortly. Everybody from BlackBook's in there. Was Quad picked up there? Quad was picked up. Quad over in chat. Nice shot there from Splash. No splash damage needed on that one. Just a direct hit. Frags coming down. 2 rockets on HX. They've managed to get a small lead 3.5 minutes in. They very much needed this start to go well for them. Not just because of the general flow of the map, but also the flow of their mental state and just how they're going to be feeling. If they had a bad start to this after how torn to shreds they got in the last map for the final 5 minutes, it'd be a really difficult comeback to make. But a very good start for them now. They're making a lot of damage. The grenades coming flying around the corner so nobody can manage to get out, and that has given Wimsuit a quad. Very well played there for, well, left mouse button very well held down there from Wimsuit to block everything off. Quad does go down without doing too much damage, and they're not able to push into anywhere either. So nice defense there from Hell's Express as well, after taking a beating and not being able to even contest for the quad. They won't be too fussed about that. The fact that they were able to take it down without it getting too many frags is what they're kind of looking for right now. Nice frags there. Takes a tiny bit more yellow armor. 2 players here on HX with yellow armors. Quad coming up, and HX are in the perfect position to take it. They've decided to take a front-loaded approach this time. They were trying to push in after it came up, but were blocked out. And this time they've decided to go for it. Possibly slightly bluffing here with not using the rocket launcher, but also could definitely just be not wanting to use it for range reasons. And there we go. It definitely gives a different vibe when someone doesn't use a rocket launcher for a while they've got the quad. You imagine there's probably a call made that the quad doesn't have a rocket launcher, and you could see the way that that BlackBook played after the rocket launcher wasn't being used for a while. It seemed to change how they treated the quad, then they pushed in much more aggressively. Entirely possible that that's just a coincidence and I'm making shit up, but definitely the sort of call that I've made before. Wimsuit manages to pick up the quad, this time without a rocket launcher, so could be a different vibe on the enemy team. Grabs this yellow. Heading down under the water. Nailgun's super powerful underwater. So a quad nailgun underwater, really not the sort of thing you want to find yourself coming up against. Light armor rocket launcher on Wimsuit goes down. Zero's going to pick up that rocket launcher, I think. A big frag's coming out in bridge room. Quad's up, taken by Yave. Super shotgun, the best weapon to have, I think, with a quad. Some of my favourite frag movie moments are super shotgun quad, especially Capture the Flag and Quake 3 Capture the Flag, with the quad just tearing through everybody moving around the map. It deals some great damage in Quake World as well. Nice little shot there from OK. Just a cheeky shot when Yave didn't notice him down the bottom. Unfortunate respawns there. BlackBook haven't been able to find their way back into this game. 3 seconds up till quad. They don't look like they're going to be contesting it particularly, or pulling out at the last second. Milton, the one going in, just trying to do something, but didn't have any real fight to put up. Especially once Zerial had taken the quad. Now Zerial's going to take the rocket launcher and just try and control this one position. Get a few rocket launchers on the team, because right now there's not too many. There's only 2 rocket launchers. 133 to 69, nice. Ignore that the second I said that, frags came out. Need to be faster on spotting these things. This is a very strong position, especially on a map like this. On a lot of other maps, especially something like Schloss or Phantom Base, where roaming is more prevalent and more available, you'd be saying that this sort of scoreline could absolutely be brought back, but with the way that this map works, it's so easier to just nuke the quad as soon as it comes up. It doesn't matter who takes it, and quad's really your only chance at getting a high amount of frags. Okay, I should just shut up sometimes. It's really your only chance of getting a high amount of frags right as we're watching some beautifully calm aim, as Nomic said. Just absolutely smashing up a team. Nice overflick. A lot of nail guns going around at the minute. Bring out damage but not frags. But that's okay. BlackBook, 3 rocket launchers. They do lose the quad, but it goes on to Zerial, who isn't stacked up at all. Only has a nail gun and a shotgun. So there's a chance for BlackBook to just be able to dodge this. They're going to lose 1, but that's fine to them. BlackBook right now, I think, are just going to try and let this quad wear out and take as little damage from it as possible. Because they had those 3 rocket launchers, they'd like to keep as many of those as possible. They've at the minute managed to keep 2 of them alive. Yave going down the most. Splash has every weapon on the map. It's not often that you say that in Quake World. And immediately goes down to Milton. BlackBook have got the right position to bring this back. They need to take a quad. They haven't got the position right now to just absolutely explode this quad. This could be dangerous as well. How's Xpress? Possibly in a position to put themselves in a... You know, it's too early in the map right now to say to close this up. But certainly to put themselves in the position... 15 minutes, I would say, and 50 frags, over 50 frags in the lead, they'll be able to kind of shut the game down and play very defensively. They already are somewhat playing defensively. And on this map, playing defensively, not passively, but defensively, and making the frags, controlling the positions, it can get you a lot of frags itself, especially when the opponent needs to rush in and... like, BlackBook knows they need to make frags, so they're playing much more aggressively than HX is going to be right now. Zerial will go round on a tear. Anything's good. If the rest of the team survives this, and Zerial just goes around seeing what he can find, he's going to find a lot of frags right there. Absolutely brilliant running into this rocket room. Controlling that rocket room, leave a player from your team to hold it down. Great rampage from that quad damage. 6 frags, I think I counted. They haven't extended the lead particularly with that quad. More players going down elsewhere. But they are up 73 frags. And control of a lot of the most important places on the map, which puts BlackBook on a big back foot. Zerial picks up the quad. In absolutely dominating position. Splash has got 65 frags. That's incredible. He hasn't even particularly been raid bossed, is what's even more impressive about that. Milton's managed to snag himself a yellow. That's not bad in BlackBook's cap. The way Milton aims, such a Quake World way of aiming. So flicky, so not smooth. Milton now with the quad. This is BlackBook's best chance to come back into this, and immediately Milton gets nuked. HX knows that the best thing that they can do is just nuke the quads. This map is pretty much over. There's always a chance. It's Quake World, the frags can come thick and fast, but that 15-minute mark is fast approaching. And more than 50 frags as well. So 15 minutes, 50 frags, you can't hemorrhage more than 10 frags a minute by playing defensively, especially on a map like this, where your opponent can just... They have to engage sometimes, because there's only one way in and one way out of a lot of places, but 10 frags a minute and you can pretty much lock the map down. Quad coming up soon. HX not even going to try and go for it. The only person there just spawned into it. And somehow OK manages to steal that quad. That's really not good for BlackBook. Fantastic comeback after the destruction on the last map. It's not quite as bad destruction. And I doubt we'll see it go that far. But we are going to see another map come out. E1M2 very well played. Nice grenade. Good rockets there from Real Pit. Frags coming out. BlackBook having to get a little bit desperate to try and make some frags happen. Quad immediately suicides as OK runs around the corner. And they'll be fine with that. They'll be fine with losing. They lost an entire team and only got one frag in the end, really. But they'll be perfectly fine with that, HX, because they can spend that resource of score that they have on the map to just defend places. BlackBook, I expect in the next minute or so, will turn to just vibes-based deathmatching rather than pushing in and playing more proper. They'll see the scoreline, they'll see the game's over. And that's what normally happens towards the end of games. Again, it's that kind of getting the feel for it, getting a few nice frags. If you can get a good quad run, maybe. As a team, can they pull off a good quad run together? That could really help you going into the next map. I think this map could have been a lot different had HX not managed to get a few decent 30 seconds of runs. towards the end of the last map. John did call it. Very well played job for calling this. The frags are drawing closer and closer. But I think HX have just completely shut this down. Like I said, 10 frags a minute. They've had it shut down since 14 minutes and they've lost 30 frags. So they're not even quite losing that right now. You can see Yave's running around trying to find whatever he can and can't seem to find anything. They take a quad almost completely for free. But then likely will get very few frags with it. Zerial found out. Should go down here, but Zerial's doing incredibly. And a fantastic move there. 2 frags, unfortunate respawn from OK in that corner. And as we enter the final minute, BlackBook will have made a good comeback. They're bringing this back steadily, but it's not going to be enough. Too little, too late kind of situation. HX playing the perfect end game, knowing when to shut the game down and just make it incredibly difficult for BlackBook to come in. They might have absolutely no weapons. You can see that BlackBook have 3 rocket launchers on their team and the quad now being picked up by Yave. But HX have got 3 fresh spawns. 4 fresh spawns. They are just shutting it down. And that is the perfect thing to do towards the end of the game. The frag difference will be small, but you will get the win of the game. Delayed spawns and all of that as well. Very nicely played, pushing us to a 4th map. Whatever that may be. We reckon it'll probably have seen a call for Phantom Base, I think. It's either Phantom Base or DM3. So let's see where we go and see who can take it. Can we go all the way 5 maps? Map number 4, we enter Phantom Base. We have 2-1, BlackBook in the lead. This is BlackBook's pick out of DM3 or Phantom Base. And it's time to go. Suicide, or well, teammate frag from Splash straight off the back. Splash has picked up... Oh, that might have been a frag to pick up the grenade launcher after Splash took the pent. Very nice frag taking out Wimsuit with the quad. Splash holding up this red armor with the pent. Pent goes down immediately, so does Splash. Ten frags in the lead already at the end of the first minute. BlackBook are right up there. Pushing it early, they take the quad. The next quad, I suppose, not the first quad. First quad went down without too much of a fight, though, to the pent. It's already not looking great for HX. So putting in some good work holding down this red armor. Now time to go roaming. Take control of wherever you like. Well stacked. This map, very powerful LG on this map. Balanced mostly by awkward corners and stuff like that. But it's it can get overpowered because there's so much ammo hanging around in random places. So towards the end of the game, you'll see a lot of LGs that are pre-stacked up. Very nice starting frags from Milton there with the quad. especially opening it up down into this LG. And look at that, 20 LG on Milton with the quad, with a good stack. This is looking early doors, it's looking dominating. There is, of course, always the option for HX to come back into this game with a similar play. If they can do it to you, you can do it to them. It's the theory. It doesn't always work out like that. Skill difference and everything. But Milton's going to hold this down with this lightning gun. Probably just going to hold down this lightning gun area as well. No need to go anywhere when the frags are just coming to you. Quad up in 2. Who's going to pick it up? Milton. With an LG, with a rocket launcher. Just finding everybody right now. There's no hiding for HX. Milton on an absolute tear, filling up the leaderboards. Scoreboard. 30 frags already. Splash has just got the 1. 83 to 8. John said at about 45 seconds into the map, maybe, that it was game over. I didn't want to say it because that's a bit early, but this is brutal right now. I mean, we've seen how good HX is. They are an incredibly good team. They have pushed this team on 2 maps and they've won on another. And it's just domination right now. Splash AFK. Pause right now. Not sure what's going on, but yeah, look at the frags from Milton. 32 frags. Say's got 24. Say actually doing better than Milton, I would say. What is a bore? Is a bore just where you spam rockets down a hallway and everybody dies? Oh, self-killing with RL. Okay. Okay, so this is really... Place your bets in chat. What's the scoreline going to be by the end? Will it be quadruple figures? No, it won't be that bad. Like, right now they're on for 400 frags. And I think the scoreline will actually go further and further out. It does raise the interesting question of... If Quake World were to have a score limit, or not a score limit, but a difference limit. So for all the pickups in Xenotic, we play 4-on-4, I think is a 40 frag difference. So just in case the map is completely too far open, 40 frags is the difference. But our top fragging for a 20-minute TDM tends to top out about 120 on the scoreboard. So that's fine. What would you even put if you were going to try and do that sort of mercy limit? It does help us, because if you've got 2 really unbalanced teams, the game ends in 5 minutes and you're like, yeah, cool. We'll rebalance and go again. But with the scorelines that can come out, and I've seen scorelines run massively one way and then massively the other way in Quake World, especially in Duel. Duel, it's possible to just completely take over a map and then spam a couple rockets, get lucky, get back straight into the game. Which is one of those tough things in mental battles. I reckon this will easily go to 400 frags. Maybe not difference, but 400 frags on BlackBook. He's just going to go RDM. BlackBook are going to go... Okay, they're not even particularly there for the quad. Splash has managed to pick up the quad. I'm not even going to pretend like this is a way back in. There's, you know, I've commentated some pretty blowout games and tried to make them seem like there could be a comeback, but I don't think there is. If it happens, it'll be a comeback of a century. But BlackBook just hiding from the quad as it comes around. No need to do anything. Wait until it's gone. And especially on Phantom base, they don't lose too much. If you were to hide on E1 M2, you'd probably have a problem because you'd lose so much control over the map, the limited resources. But there's so much resources over this map. 2 rocket launchers, the LG, red. Major items quite open and in the middle, easy to fight for. You don't have to try and control the room before it comes up. You want to, of course, for your best chance to grab it, but you generally don't. You don't have to really be in ownership of the room, not letting anybody in, like you do on E1 M2 or the M2. Great fragging out from Yave right now. Can you find another? It does. Dropping down. Should be able to pick up this LG. It should be there. Oh no, in a couple of seconds it's there. But already has an LG, so might as well get some cells. There we go. Good shooting there from Zero. A lot of those hit. Gonna auto tracking off and on. Wimsuit over at the quad picks it up. And now it'll be a tear. If you wanted to see some quad runs, didn't get to see too many of them the last couple of games. A lot of defensive play was going on. The losses have been quite limited since this ran so far right at the start. In under a minute, the frag difference was 25, which is absolutely heard of, but unheard of considering the last 2 maps we've seen of these 2 guys playing against each other. HX is getting absolutely dominated. About 140 the score difference, 137 frags the difference as we reach the halfway mark. Yave's going to pick up the pent. Quad coming up in a second. Wouldn't put it past Yave to get it. Gets quad pent. And now let's see what sort of tear he can go on. This map really nice to move around. If you know where the stairs are and you're able to avoid those generally. Oh, unlucky respawn there from Zerial. Fragged with the shotgun, then fragged by slightly by mistake, I guess, but... Ooh, nice quad rocket there. Not using it to go absolutely to the moon. Just shooting down below. And getting the good knockback. Real Pit manages to steal that red armor. And looks like they had a mega, but Milton's going to take him out. Both players just surviving, not much health left. Milton going to get the better of all 3 of those guys. Coming up on the quad. And Milton steals it. Zero was in the right place, but just had the timing slightly off. Don't know about that 400 frag prediction. It's going to require a complete give up in the last 5 minutes. So I think the goal really from HX right now is to not go 400 frags. And to possibly, if they can, that's the first goal potentially. And then the second goal is potentially to get 100. Get into triple digits. Yave on quad duty today. Let's see how evenly these two teams. So the team HX is probably going to be pretty evenly spaced because I doubt that any of those are going to be able to pick up any weapons. And they're going to have such a hard time fragging that it's going to make their scores compress into one. You can see down in the corner we've got 17, 16, 15 and 12. So all pretty close together. Over on the book side of things, we'll see how close this one gets together. Milton going on more of a frag tear just while I'm watching it than Yave with the quad. 4 rocket launchers out. Milton the only one without armour. Wimsuit needs to pick up some health. Rocket launcher up from Zerial, coming back in a little bit early for the quad though, and Wimsuit's going to grab it this time. The bottom fragging member, only by a couple versus Say, but the bottom fragging member of BlackBook. And this is where it will be interesting on the next one. If Wimsuit's able to get quite a few frags here with the quad and get above Say, will they just give the quad to Say next time and try and even things up a little? Give everybody their work experience day. It is unfortunate that you know that these guys can play Phantom Base so well, but you're not going to get to see the strategy and how they're going to play Phantom Base, because to see someone play a map to perfection, you have to have somebody else who can play that map so incredibly well against them. Otherwise it just gets a little bit of a blowout and the control's taken. There's not much you can do. If they're not coming back, you don't get to see as much. The dreams of the 400 frag game appear to be drifting away right now. As in this last 5 minutes, as we're coming up 30 seconds to the 15-minute mark. And of course the next pent soon. We haven't seen quite so many frags as we did before. Nice final seconds of the quad used up by Yave. Cheers tuning in, Naki. Have a good night. Sorry about the final game. It's unfortunate, but that's how it goes. Sometimes we had 3 really good games before that. Blowouts on the scoreboard maybe, but there was comebacks, there was swings, there was roundabouts. Milton's going to grab the pen to run just around the outside and be there a little bit early for the quad, but nobody, literally nobody is going to even challenge it, knowing that they're going to pen to quad it. And he's got the ring. I have quite literally never seen that happen before. It's a rare one just for not having enough of the maps. As soon as Milton goes in, shoots splash and goes down. I don't know if he'd quite noticed that the pent had run out, because you can't see your weapon model, so you might just not have heard the tunes. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a bit of defocusing going on. 3 tough maps, and now these guys will just play some deathmatch. Milton on the next quad again. Comes up sooner than you think. They should tick over to 300 frags by the end of this quad. Grenades raining down, but I think that's actually from Wimsuit. HX doing a great job of hiding right now. They really are, because they haven't lost too many frags. And for some reason, what I said at the start of this map about a lot of A lot of LG ammo being spread around. It hasn't quite come out as much, but I think that's just the rocket launchers being so prevalent. Every player on BlackBook having a rocket launcher, so few deaths happening. Milton going to take that quad. Let's take a look. How many deaths have BlackBook players actually got right now? 14, 14, 22 and 33. It's not a lot of deaths. "21, 21, 21 and 18 on the scoreboard right there. And to answer the question that posed before the recording started and before the game started, I had got the right one for frags as a score rather than frags as in kills. Ooh, 2 minutes left. Can they make 70 odd frags, 65 frags in 2 minutes? I don't think so. I don't think they'll get to a 300 frag lead either. They'd need 50 frags for that. Just about, just over. That's probably too much of a stretch as well. Milton's running around, can't find any of the frags. He's not even really chasing all of the players that he could chase with a lot of these. They know they've got the win. They've had the win realistically for the last 18 minutes minus the 41 seconds. It's been a blowout of the last map. But have you enjoyed it? Sometimes it's fun to just watch the best go absolutely ham against some of the rest of the best. Because take nothing away from Xpress right here. They've put up 3 fantastic games. And a 4th less than fantastic game. They did get a quad in the end there though. Blown straight up. Final quad of the game. $350 frags odd is going to be the final score. By the looks of things coming out from BlackBook. They will move over into the finals of the upper division. They've won gold. There's gold, silver and bronze. We'll have much more commentary coming out. If you've been watching this, thank you very, very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. I hope that you'll be back for more. And hopefully I'll be able to commentate some of the other games. HX immediately having a few quitters. Yeah, hopefully be able to have a few of the other games commentated that have been happening at this same time. Commentated from their demos. So thank you very, very much for watching. And I will see you next time.